As Canadians elect their next government, how will the new Prime Minister tackle an uncertain economy? Some of that uncertainty is coming from the U.S., and one Wall Street firm is still advising investors to sell U.S. stocks. Plus, how is one billionaire investor positioning his portfolio for the rest of the year? Those are this week's market moves. Let's dive in. All right, as Canadians head to the polls, one of the big questions for voters has been, how will Canada's economy fare under the Conservatives or the Liberals? Well, ahead of the election, one Bay Street economist said it's pretty hard to assess just based on the economic platforms the parties put forward in the final days of the campaign. In a new report, Derek Holt of Scotiabank said, quote, "They're all made up numbers and promises." Given Canada is already running a budget deficit, Holt is particularly concerned about just how much spending we could see from the next government, adding, quote, "I'm personally more nervous about overdoing fiscal stimulus." By the way, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss our post-election video with the market reaction. We'll be joined by Global X's head of investment strategy, Chris McCaney. Speaking of Global X, also keep an eye out for 11 new ETF launches coming on April 30th. All right, so we talked about some of that potential big spending by a new Canadian government, in part because of some of the trade uncertainty coming from the United States. Well, those trade tensions have taken a big bite out of the U.S. stock market this year, and while American equities have bounced off their lows, Bank of America's investment team is advising investors to sell into any rallies in U.S. stocks or the U.S. dollar. B of A strategist Michael Hartnett saying in a report that unless the U.S. Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates, or a U.S. trade deal is reached with China, or there are clear signs of resilient consumer spending, that the investor shift away from U.S. assets this year could continue. And finally, that trend is something billionaire investor Ken Fisher is also watching closely. In an exclusive interview on my YouTube channel, Ticker Take with John Ehrlichman, Fisher said this is indeed a year where investors should accept that you should be, quote, underweight America and underweight growth. Fisher says that theme of investors shifting their investment dollars to other parts of the world, whether it's markets like Europe or Canada, could continue through the end of 2025. By the way, if you want to check out that full Ticker Take video sponsored by Global X, we've got a link to that in our description. All right, that's our market moves for this week. Thanks for watching. What market moves are you watching? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next market moves video. See you next time.